All right, we're going to start with Alex Storako. Is everybody ready? Ready? So I'm going to have you kind of start with an opening statement, what you're excited about, what you're ready for. And then I'm going to moderate it. So just if you have a question, just throw it in the chat and I'll call on you guys. So
starting with the statement. I'm starting with the statement. This season, I'm just looking forward to seeing the growth in how we've developed throughout the fall and the spring. I think this team brings a lot of depth and a lot of power and a lot of explosiveness. And I think that we can really apply that to all areas of our game this year. And I'm really excited to see that play. So.
All right, questions. Who's first?
Yeah, you guys can record and stuff.
Is your camera work? Who wants to go first? Questions?
I got one. I can get started.
All right, you get started. Ryan, you're next.
So Alex, obviously last year was filled with many accomplishments across the pitching room, both between you and Megan. Although obviously there was that frustrating loss to end the season, and it wasn't really the best performance out of the two of you guys. So how has that really fueled this offseason and affected your mentality going into this season as a pair?
I think the both of us have worked on a lot of little things that we've gotten better at throughout the summer and the fall. And I think that Megan and I have both done really well at developing ourselves in the little details because at this point, that's what's going to make us so much better and take us to that next level for sure.
Thanks.
Ryan, go ahead.
I was going to ask something similar, but what do you think Kristina can bring to this team this year?
I'm really excited about Kristina. She is just a fun-loving person in general. So she's very easygoing, and I think she adds a lot to our lineup, lots of the outfield as well. Has a strong arm, just a consistent bat, and I think that is something that we obviously would love to add to our lineup.
Eric, go ahead.
How are you and Megan similar and different? You've both been teammates for a while. You're great 1-2 punch. I'm fascinated. How are you the same and complement each other on the field and off the field?
I think Megan and I complement each other on and off. We're very different people off the field, and our minds work in very different ways, and we're interested in very different things. But I think that just goes to say like how well we work on the field as well. Obviously righty lefty, and then obviously different pitches too. And I think that just adds to what makes us so great as a duo on the mound and what we bring to Michigan softball.
Charlie, go ahead.
Hi, you and Megan are both very experienced pitchers. You've been here for 4 years, but there's 3 new freshmen coming to the team. Could you kind of talk about how you've taken a leadership role and kind of helped them grow as pitchers?
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment always from high school to college is just from a mental aspect. And I think that Megan and I are here just to not only help them morph into great pitchers that Michigan has always had, but just help them in the mental aspect of adjusting to how good these hitters are at this level, and how to stay very level-headed in every aspect, whether that's school, whether that's softball, all of it. It's a really big adjustment. And so having 2 very experienced pitchers that have probably gone through every kind of situation possible is really nice to have. And I just think that Megan and I have done really well at guiding them through whatever they need and being open to any kind of questions. And it's been exciting just watching them develop thus far.
Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, kind of staying along the lines with the freshman. Annabelle was a really highly touted prospect coming in. What does she add to the pitching room here?
I think she adds a lot of things to our pitching staff and to our team. I mean, you have her on all aspects, from the infield to our lineup and on the mound, and it's just another arm, and that's really exciting. And yeah, I'm excited to see what she has in store for us this season.
Ryan?
Yeah, after last year's RPI controversy, I mean, how excited are you to be able to play top non-conference competition again this year?
Yeah, it's super exciting, especially for Megan and I. We've obviously seen these teams for so long now, and a lot of the same consistent kind of lineups, especially from going into 4-game series last year. We're back to a 3-game series with Big Ten, and just being able to see different kinds of hitters. I think it really tests us on all kinds of levels, whether that's pitching, hitting, all of it. So I think it's just an extra chance to prove ourselves and how good we really are.
Josh?
Hi. So how does it affect the team to not have a home crowd behind you for more than a month of the season?
I don't know if it really affected us too much. I just know that we're really excited that, we will have a lot more fans this year than just our parents. And obviously our parents mean the most to us, but it'll be really exciting to get back to Alumni Field with a full crowd because it hasn't been since my freshman year. So.
Eric, go ahead.
How aware were you of the legacy of the great pitchers that Michigan had when you arrived, like the Jenny Ritters, the Nikki Nemeth, the Jordan Taylors? And do you feel that you and Megan, are part of that, want to make that big step there for Coach Hutch?
I just think that what happens in our bullpen is just so special. I mean, I think Coach Brundage does such a great job at developing us from day one. And I think that the way that she's able to coach us and teach us is why she has such good pitchers, and the way that she individualizes like how she transforms us. Because everyone knows like I said, like Megan and I are very different in a lot of aspects, and what she's good at is not what I'm good at. And Biggie is really good at knowing that, and I think that's what makes our bullpen and what the pitchers in Michigan softball pass makes us so good.
Anything else for Alex? All right, you're done.
Sweet.
I will have Megan in there in just a moment. I just lost her. I had
Okay.
already lost her.
Okay, I'm muting it.
Thank you, Meg, or thank you, Alex. No, you don't. All right, we've got Megan. So let's just start with a question. So I think Ryan, do you have a question?
No, we're not.
No, we're not. Okay. You stay there.
Okay.
Any questions for Megan? Megan, I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
What are you most looking forward to getting ready to start this season? So we're a little more than a week away. You've come back for your 5th year. What are you most excited about to get started?
I am, well, one, I'm just really excited to get back on the field and get back to competing, but I'm really excited about this team. And honestly, I think, especially as a 5th year, I'm really excited about all the young people on this team and all the talent we have at every position, and just watching people grow. And I think that's been one of my favorite things this fall and so far this year, is just watching people grow and learn and just absorb things every single day. And I'm really excited to see how this team performs, but also to see how we go about getting better each weekend.
All right, Charlie, you go.
Yeah, you touched on kind of coming back as a 5th year and making that decision. Could you discuss a little bit about what went into the decision to come back for your 5th year and what you're looking to accomplish with this team this year specifically?
Yeah. So as far as like the decision to come back, it was an easy decision to want to come back. Like I knew as soon as the NCAA renewed that year of eligibility that I wanted to come back, and it was just a matter of like logistics around here and what I would do academically. But that ended up working out perfectly, and I'm in grad school, and that just everything clicked there, and it was never really a hard decision. I always wanted to come back. I wanted to get every ounce of experience I could get out of here and be here as long as I can. And for this team, I mean, there's a lot of goals I set for myself before I got here, and each year that I've been here that I haven't been able to achieve yet, and that my teams that I've been on haven't been to yet. And I think this team has a lot of potential. This team wants to get to Oklahoma City, and this team wants to win in Oklahoma City. And that's a big reason I'm back. You know, I've never been there. I've never made it out of the regional. I'm not happy with that. No one who's been here for 5 years is satisfied with that. And that's our goal.
Joey, go ahead.
I guess kind of jumping off of Charlie's question, obviously you and Alex have, been pitching together for some time now, and both of you are coming back as somewhat stars of this team. So what is kind of your approach relative to previous years since you've decided to come back?
I don't necessarily think my approach has changed at all. I think Alex and I are both, really excited to be back and pitching together again. I know it's nice to have someone that you've been with a long time that is going to get the job done, and you trust and has your back. And I think we can be really dominant this year. And she knows that. I know that. We have a lot of confidence. But as far as our approach goes, it's just going to be that whenever we get the ball, go out there and attack people and attack to win, and just really be dominant, not settle for anything.
Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, Megan, how much do you think playing a tough non-conference schedule game will help prepare you guys for the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I'm so excited to start all these preseason trips up again and play some non-conference schools. I think there is a lot of talent in the Big Ten, but I think some of the competition you get outside is just extremely valuable to us to see, the top pitchers and the top hitters in the country. And a lot of times the first couple weekends can be some of the hardest competition we'll see all year. And I think that makes you tougher, whether you win or lose. That's a learning experience for our team. And it always just makes you physically better to throw to the best hitters in the country, and for our hitters to have to work at bats against the best pitchers in the country. And I think that's going to be really good preparation for playing Big Tens, but also for after Big Tens. I think that's a really valuable experience.
Justin, go ahead.
Last year, obviously, a wonky schedule. This year, you kind of have a normal year. How different is your mindset going into this year than it was, with a week to go into the last season?
Last year was different in a lot of different ways, but I think what we tried to do really hard last year was keep a consistent mindset and not act like it was a different year and just go at it like we would any other year. So I wouldn't say it's that different. Like, we still have the same goals. We still want to win every game. We still want to get better every game. So I think as far as the approach to games goes, I think my mind's in the same place. I think that that's a good thing. I think your mind should be in the same place, no matter who you're playing or what schedule you're playing. But I am really excited to go back to more of a normal, so to speak, type of schedule. And I think everyone else on the team is as well. But trying to keep the mind consistent and not get overexcited or too high or too low.
Noah, go ahead.
There are 3 new freshman pitchers coming in this year to slot in behind yourself and Alex at the top. What do those freshmen bring to this bullpen, and how quickly can they be expected to contribute in your eyes?
I have loved having those 3 in the bullpen, every single one of them. I think they're all really different people, and I think I can see a bit of myself when I was younger in all of them in different ways. And I've really loved getting to work with them and watch them and just see how they learn and see how they get better. And that's been one of my favorite things about this year so far. And I think they have a ton of potential and a ton of talent already. They have done really well for themselves this year, and I think I can't speak to anybody's playing time or anything like that, but I think that they can all be contributors and that they can all go out here and succeed against the best of the best. And I think they're all going to be really great for Michigan, and I'm really excited to see not just this year, but how the rest of their careers go. I think they're going to be great.
All right, and then how about last one for Megan? Eric, go ahead.
How have you changed as a pitcher and as a person now to when you first walked on campus as a freshman and, you know, set notice to everybody of how good you were? But how are you different now than you were back then?
I think I'd say I'm probably more different as a person than I am a pitcher. I think there's a lot of things I've gotten better at as a pitcher and just refined. And, you know, just technical things that I've gotten better at over the years of just working at this level every day. But I think like my mental approach and just my confidence level and leadership abilities are just, you know, worlds apart than I was when I walked in here as a freshman. And I think just as a person, I feel like I've kind of grown up over 5 years here. Like, I don't feel like the same person, but I feel like I am just as a person and as a pitcher, just more confident, well prepared, just feel like I can do anything. And yeah, I just feel like fifth year, it's a hard question. I can talk a lot about that. Sorry, this is like not a very coherent answer. Let me just sum this up concisely. Sorry, Leah.
Megan's got an engineering brain, so she's trying to answer this perfectly.
Let's see. I think just the biggest thing is like my confidence in myself that like I can be successful at the highest level and that I can be successful against any hitter on any team in this country and that I can dominate any team in this country. And knowing that instead of just walking in here and like, oh, I hope I do good in college. Like, no, like I know that I can be great here. I know that I have been really good and that I can be even better. And I'm excited to do that. And I'm not so much afraid of not doing well anymore. I know there's going to be games where I don't do well, but that's not going to shake my confidence anymore. And that's just how I've grown with my mental game at this point.
Thank you. Megan, will you tag in Kristina over
Yes,
there?
I will go downstairs and get her.
Oh, she's here somewhere.
Oh,
Okay. We're like 2 rooms apart, so we're
Okay.
trying to organize this together. Hang on.
I will go find her.
Okay.
All right, I'll lead off with Kristina. Thanks, Megan. It seems like you've made a pretty seamless transition. So obviously you're a veteran. You came in the fall. It seems like you're fitting in great from a softball perspective, from a locker room perspective. How do you see your transition here in Ann Arbor?
I would have to agree. I think I didn't really know how the transition was going to be because I spent 5 years at another institution with other teammates, and coming to a new program, a dominant program, I didn't know what to expect, but from the get-go, the girls have been great. They were so welcoming. I remember my first visit in Ann Arbor. I just came up here on my own, like none of them knew I was coming, and I just like sent them a quick text, and I was like, hey, I'll be in Ann Arbor for the day. Like, you don't have to drop your schedules for me, but I'll just be in town. And like 8 of them showed up, introduced themselves like right off the bat. So that was, I was very fortunate for that. And they've just been super awesome to get along with. I'm living with Milena, who was also a transfer. So that, I made an easy friend there, and they've just been great, and practices have been so fluent because of that connection. And yeah, I couldn't be more grateful. So.
All right, questions. Eric, you start us off.
What's it been like getting to know Coach Hutch, being coached by Coach Hutch, and being around this tradition? I mean, you see there in the back of your wall all the Big Ten championships and this great tradition, the great players they have, and those colors. What has that been like for you?
It's an honor, honestly. So my older sister played at Purdue, so I grew up coming to Michigan to watch her play against Hutch, and even just seeing Hutch on the sidelines, I was like, wow, she's amazing. She means business. And then I never would have imagined myself playing for her, and here I am, and it's incredible. She knows what she wants, and she instills it in her players, and those players carry that out. From day one, we had a mission, and we are on that mission, and we're just getting excited, being bought into this process, and I can't wait to start in February. So
Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, you had a very successful career at North Carolina. But now that you're here, what do you think you bring to this team, both on and off the field, and what are you looking to achieve here?
I think I bring some experience. Obviously, the ACC is also a Power 5 school and a lot of great competition. And so I'm eager to kind of bring that experience to the Big Ten. I think I would also say I'm a huge leader by example. I kind of come in, get my work done. I love bringing the freshmen under my wing and kind of taking them through the ropes. And so that's been great. And our freshmen have been amazing with that, and they're hard workers. And honestly, I just want to come bring enthusiasm, bring some depth in the outfield and in the hitting lineup. So hopefully once we get going, that's what I bring. So, yeah.
Joey, go ahead.
Kind of building off of Noah's question and kind of building off of how you were talking about coming in as a transfer, coming into, as you just talked about, an established program. What do you kind of perceive your teammates to, what role do you feel like your team is looking out for you to have?
Someone who's just also bought into the process. We want to get back to the Women's College World Series, and obviously I wasn't able to do that at my last institution. So as soon as I got here, that's what they wanted, and that's also what I wanted. And we're set out to win another Big Ten championship, and I would love to help my team do that as well, and to make it to the Women's College World Series every day. That's our goal. That's what we come in. We get work done, and they expect nothing less from me. So,
Justin, go ahead.
Coming in as a veteran transfer, you've seen a lot of softball before you even got to Ann Arbor. Do you feel like that's to your advantage? It's obviously different competition, but you come in, you kind of have that veteranship, you have the experience. Do you feel like that's an extra positive for you, even going to a new school, to have all that to rely back on?
Yeah, I think so. There's challenges coming here. I've never hit off of 2 All-American pitchers on my team before. So that's always a challenge, but grateful for that. Yeah, I would say on-field experience, that's great, but I also think the behind the scenes, I'm able to pick up on some things that I see during practice, and because I've been in this position for a while, I have no problem going up to a teammate and giving advice or seeking advice or anything like that. So yeah, I definitely think the veteran aspect plays a lot coming into a new role. I think at first I was kind of hesitant because I was like, this is a new team. I don't really know how much I can say, but because of how great the girls are and how bought in this team is, we kind of all work together, and my veteran leadership seems to, work well with them, and they work well with me as a new, player. So they've been great, and yeah.
Ryan?
Hey, Kristina, I was wondering if you could take me through a little bit more about the transfer process and what stood out about Michigan. Were you considering other schools, and when you decided to kind of pull the trigger and choose Michigan?
Yeah, so the transfer process for me was pretty challenging, honestly, only because, I'd played 5 years. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue to play, but I kind of was missing that piece of winning a conference championship, making it far in postseason. So Michigan definitely stuck out to me. Hutch being the all-star coach she is, that definitely drew a lot of attention towards me. And I'm only 2 hours from home. So when I was 10 hours before, so my family and friends weren't able to, come watch me. So 2 hours was a great appeal to me. And then also I'm getting my master's here, which is another great program, a great degree for me to get. And so kind of all those pieces, academics, a great coaching staff, a dominant team. And I knew Megan and Rocco were going to be here, and I knew this team would have the best run to get to postseason. And so that all together just kind of made this decision no doubter for me.
Joey, go ahead.
You briefly touched on the fact that, you have a lot of veterans on this team alongside you, including some veteran pitchers. Kind of expand on that. What's it like to have that kind of force to lean on in the circle?
It's intimidating. It's kind of awesome. They are some amazing pitchers. And like I said before, having to face them almost every day is kind of like, a lot, but it's honestly, it makes this team better. And that's why I love it. And I love the competition that we have. And there are a lot of veterans, so they know what to expect. They know how practices are supposed to run. They know how our attitudes are supposed to be. So we just hold ourselves to a higher standard, and the underclassmen buy into that as well. So this team is very driven.
And Noah, let's make this the last one for Kristina, and then we'll have Lexie.
Yeah, you mentioned briefly that you were living with Melina, and just being like grad transfers together, coming in a similar situation. How does that kind of impact your relationship with each other and your relationship with the rest of the team, and like how you affect the chemistry in the locker room?
I wouldn't want to live with anyone else. Melina is the best person to live with, and I think with our similar positions, it couldn't have worked out any better. Because we both had no idea what to expect. She's been in the Big Ten, so she knew that aspect, but still we're both joining a different team as, experienced players. So it was an adjustment, but her and I kind of fit in pretty easily with this team. Like I said, the team is very welcoming, and if we all have the same goals, it's kind of seamless at that point. And yeah, we just push each other, and we were able to just talk about our experiences at our old schools, and also being able to be a part of this team. So yeah, the impact we have on each other is great, and I'm excited to finally get to play with each other in the spring. So
Thank you. You're done.
Thanks,
Lexie
guys. Standing
right here and moving quickly to the laptop.
Hey
All right.
guys.
Thank you. All right, I'll start off, and then let me know if you guys have questions in the chat. But Lexie, what are you looking forward to? You guys have been practicing largely indoors in Oosterbaan. So what are you excited about, getting outside and playing some games?
First and foremost, I'm just excited not to be playing against my own teammates for the past few weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing some great competition out in Florida the first couple weekends. And I'm really just excited to see the depth in which we bring from this team. I think we have a lot of good quality players that we can just sub in, different lineups that we can work with that I'm looking forward to seeing and going from there.
All right, Eric, first question.
What have you worked on in your off season as far as in your own game, and how do you feel you're a different player today than say you were maybe a couple years ago?
I'd say for my own game, I'm just working on the mental aspect of it. There's some points in the game where I tend to get in my head, just trying to overproduce and putting a lot of pressure on myself in that sense. I'd say from my freshman year, I didn't have much expectation of myself to even be starting on the field, but I'd say as a leader on the field, I've grown tremendously in that aspect. Just confidence-wise at the plate and on the field, I'm trying to be more vocal in that aspect and just kind of come into my own and just be a little bit more present in that aspect of my game. But I think overall my confidence has been elevating ever since my freshman year, since I step foot on the campus.
All right, Josh, go ahead.
This year, the team is back to playing out of conference opponents. How do you think that getting that additional experience will help you and the team prepare for Big Ten play and eventually the postseason?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question? You kind of cut off.
Yeah,
a
of
little
course.
bit.
This year, the team is back to playing out of conference opponents. How do you think that that additional experience will help you and the team to prepare for Big Ten play and eventually the postseason?
You know, I think it's just nice to just get out and see something new. I think conference play was just a little tough. We played the team, I think, but 4 games throughout the series every single weekend. At times it kind of felt a little bit repetitive. I think it's just nice to finally be able to travel outside of the Midwest and get to see those teams that we don't typically get to see. It's just like a new arena of competition that we get to experience pre-COVID, and I think we're just most excited to get back to that. I just think it'll help going into season. You know, there's a lot of great players throughout the country, throughout different conferences that we haven't gotten to face yet that I think we're very excited to see. We all love a challenge out there, so I think there's a lot of good competition in our schedule that will help challenge us and just give us some momentum going forward into postseason.
Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that confidence is something that you've been working on and something that's grown a lot for you. How do you think that working with your coaching staff and with your teammates, how has that helped you build that confidence that helps you have success?
I think for me, just being open to feedback and constructive criticism has helped. I think each coach, you know, they have their own philosophy that I think can work for certain people. And I feel like if you're open to that, trying different things that just can help you add more to your toolbox as a player, whether it's offensively or defensively. And I think, you know, our coaches, we have a great coaching staff that can give great insight into the game and kind of just, you learn something new from them every single day. So I think just being open to that criticism and the feedback that they give you has helped me a lot in just kind of gaining more perspective and not just being more open to getting out of my comfort zone in that type of aspect.
Justin, go ahead.
Lexie, obviously last year, for you personally, the result was a very positive one. You had a great year. But going into the year, this year versus this time last year, would you say your mindset's different at all? Do you think it's very different, a little different?
No, not at all. And I think that's like one of the big things that I tend not to get too high or too low about things. I try to stay neutral. It's such an honor to be named Big Ten Player of the Year last year, but for me, you know, that was last year. This is a new season. I want to continue just to be a consistent player, consistent team player, hitter, anything I can do to help produce to get us to where we want to go. So I don't really tend to change my mindset based on how I did in years past. I think I'm just as excited as I have been previous years, and moving forward, just keeping like the same level head mindset that I have throughout the season.
Joey, go ahead.
You know, kind of expanding on that, obviously, you did get named Big Ten Player of the Year, and you have established yourself as a leader on the team as far as being a hitter is concerned. So how are you kind of taking that experience and leadership into the team's work at the plate as a whole?
I think for me, like, I try to look at myself as a lead by example. So if I can demonstrate what a good quality hitter does in the box or on the field, that's what I'm going to do my best at doing. I'm going to give 100% to what I'm doing so other girls can see, you know, what it takes to, you know, get to where you want to be, to increase their potential on the field throughout the season. So I think as long as I can keep demonstrating the aspect of the game for myself and for my teammates, especially the younger ones, I think that we'll be headed in the right direction as a whole.
All right, let's do last question for Lexie, Noah, and then we'll have Hutch.
Yeah, obviously, outfield is one of the places on the field where chemistry is really important. Losing Haley from last year and now bringing in Kristina, how have you guys been working to develop that necessary chemistry with each other?
From day one, I absolutely love Kristina. Luckily, Haley did know her. She gave me some insight to her before she's coming on campus. So they have similar personalities. And, you know, as an outfield, that's like our clique out there. You know, it's just kind of during practice, we're very to ourselves. We're very chill, very mellow. Our chemistry is great. We get along well. Definitely no worries out there. I'm very looking forward to the group as well. We have a lot of depth in there as well. You'll probably see many different people playing the field this season. So just all positive things with the outfield this year. Losing Haley was tough, and Thais, we were super close, but this year we're just as close knit, just different people.
I'm going to do one follow-up. Ellie Sealer has come in and really hit the ground running, had a great fall. How do you see her fitting into the outfield and contributing this year?
Ellie, since day one, she's been probably one of the most even keel players on this team. She doesn't talk much. She kind of just does the job. She does what she needs to do and then is just out the door. But she's great. I am very excited for this season. I see a lot of myself in her. I just feel very confident that she's going to be a huge producer on this team this season. She's a quiet one for sure, but I think the way she plays, she definitely is outspoken in the way she plays. She's great so far, and she's been amazing. So I'm really looking forward to see how she steps up this season.
Okay, you're done. Will you mute that? And then we'll get Hutch
Yeah.
for you in just a minute.
Thank you, guys.
All
All
right.
right, I have my
Hutch is
glasses
here.
on, so I can't see very well. Can't see who's here. Hi, everybody. Bye just as well.
So I will start, Hutch. We are about 10 days away from the season starting. What are you most ready for to get into some competition?
Well, I think we're most ready to play some competition besides ourselves and our own pitchers. You get to a point in your practice season. We've been practicing since September 1st. That you really just, to grow at this point, we need to go on the field and compete against opponents. And then we'll see really where we're at and where we need to go.
Questions? Charlie, you start.
Great, thank you. In an interview you did with the Conquering Heroes podcast, you mentioned that something you felt was a big asset for your team was that they play like they have a chip on their shoulder. And especially coming off of last year's tough losses to Washington, how do you see this kind of chip on the team's shoulder manifest itself in practice?
Well, I saw signs of it, and we're kind of at that point of practice where we need to play Washington. We need to play somebody else. But I have a group of upperclassmen, a true senior class in Derocco and Hannah Carson and Lexie Blair, and then of course my super seniors in Bump and Beaubien who've been here, and we've got a couple additions in Kristina and Milena, but I know they're not satisfied. And I know they felt really good about their year last year and felt that it ended too soon. So I hope they bring that with them. I like a chip on your shoulder as long as you know how to manage it.
Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, Hutch. Yeah, we wanted to get your thoughts on the transfer portal and the two additions you brought in this year and what type of impact they might have for you guys this season.
Well, the transfer portal is a whole subject that, I can tell you that we're really excited about Kristina Burkhardt and Milena Livingston. They're really great members of our team. I feel like Kristina's been here her whole 6 years. She fits in so well. And I think she's really going to help us. There's no question. She was a great player at North Carolina. I remember her well as an opponent, and I'm thrilled to have her on our team. And, and I remember Milena as a Penn State player, and she gives us some depth and versatility. But, they happen to both be in the portal. They come in as grad students, which is a much better fit for the University of Michigan. Transferring into Michigan is very difficult. And it won't be something that we live and die with year to year. I think we will look for the right kind of fits that fit us academically and fit us, of course, athletically.
Justin, go ahead.
Hey, Hutch, how nice is it to know you're 10 days from season and that you're going to be playing somebody that's not in the Big Ten standings?
That we're going to be playing somebody that doesn't wear maize and blue, and we're going to have 17 inches of snow here by tomorrow. So I can't tell you how nice it feels.
Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to go along the same lines. I mean, looking at the schedule, first thing to notice, out of conference teams. Considering all the kind of frustrations surrounding the perception of Michigan's resume last year, How does that kind of factor into these first opportunities to go and play different teams down south?
Well, it's what we do every year, except last year. And, we've always played out of conference teams. We try to play a very competitive schedule. We're certainly looking to have a strong RPI, something you have to manage. And we're trying to win games. And we want to do all those things. So I'm not making much more of last year's perceptions. I don't care what anybody's perceptions is. You got to win on the field. And bottom line is, when you get to regionals, you got to win. So it doesn't really matter who you play. You can talk about where you think you should be seated and where you go, but ultimately we can't dwell on that. We don't control it. We have to control what we control, and we control how we play.
Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's no secret that like pitching was a huge strength of the team last year and everyone's back, but it seems like some of the offseason adjustments that were made, such as like the 2 transfers and bringing Faith Canfield in as a volunteer coach, we're working to strengthen the offensive side of things. So what do you think those 3 additions will do to improve your performance at the plate this season?
Well, we have a really great balance. So we have some old seasoned kids. We have some very young kids. And we're going to need the old kids. We need to count on them until the young kids get used to the college game, the pace of game, managing their plates. I mean, plate management is different in college. It's much more difficult. Hitting's hard. Hitting's very hard. And, it is certainly my goal every year. We work really hard every day. We hit every day and we work really hard. And when Faith came in, I said, you're going to stay on the offensive side because that's where we need. And she was a great offensive player for us. She's been a great addition.
Josh, go ahead.
So how important do you think it is to get off to a fast start to this season and establish some positive momentum?
Well, it certainly would be my wish. I like to win the first game and the last game and every game in between. But all I can tell you is that we want to continue to get better as a team. And we do tend to get better as we go. Like, we need to play some games, get some games under our belt, get some at-bats under our belts, and give some of the young kids some experience. But we don't get an exhibition season like Major League Baseball. We don't get to go have practice games, and we practice against each other. And every game counts. And that can be tough. It's very tough, but it is what it is. So our aim, we'll coach every game to win it. I can tell you that.
Eric, go ahead.
Coach, what's your thoughts? This is a unique year because Coach Kendra is not coaching. He retired, and I just spoke to Coach Erickson at USF. He's joked that there's going to be more eyeballs on you the first couple of weeks in Florida there as you chase down Coach Kendra in the wins. But what's your thoughts there with Coach Kendra obviously not involved in the game? And like I said, more people are going to be paying attention to you closely here the first couple of weeks of the year as you pass him in wins possibly.
Well, first of all, there's no, you can't compare me to Coach Kendra. He is the GOAT. He is the greatest ever. He has 8 national championships. And what Mike Candrea has done for the game of softball, I mean, he's on a level all by himself. I will look up to him forever. He's been nothing but great for the game of softball, obviously great for Arizona softball. And all we're trying to do is we're trying to get to the World Series. We've been able to get to the World Series. That's the goal of this year's team, is the goal of every team. And we have to win games to do it. And that's my only focus. But all I can do is tip my hat to Mike Candrea. He is all by himself. Own stratosphere.
Joey, go ahead.
So at the fall ball games at the end of last year, it seemed like one thing that was really clear to me was that Michigan fans are really thrilled to get back to Alumni Field. So, the energy and the passion from the dugout has always been something incredibly noticeable about the program over the years. So what will it be like to get that energy from outside of it now, once again?
Well, we saw the Central Michigan game. We had close to 2,000 people for both ends of the doubleheader, and it was a long doubleheader. The fans can't wait to get back, and we can't wait to have them back. There's nothing like sitting in our dugout and looking at the outfield bleachers packed with people all cheering for us, all but a few of them. We can't wait. Our fans are special. We have a tremendous fan base. We know half our season ticket holders by name. So we're excited about it, but we hope that we're the ones that create the excitement for them. But our kids cherish that experience to be in Alumni Field.
Justin, go ahead.
Coach Megan a little bit ago said something that I hadn't consciously realized. She hasn't played in the Women's College World Series. Hasn't played past the regionals. It's rare for a player of that caliber at Michigan softball to go several years without that. This is her final year for you. I know you're the coach, but do you sense in your coaching room with your team, is there an extra sense of urgency? You want to keep the unit you've got, the talent you have, you want to get there now?
Well, yeah, of course we want to get there now. We want to get there in June. And the thing is, you don't want kids to come in and press. You don't want seniors to come in and make it about themselves. You don't want that. You want a team that believes in themselves and plays to their capability. And, our pitching has certainly been tremendous. Last year, we had tremendous pitching staff and we fell short. But I want them to come in with a sense of urgency every day. I want them to have it today at practice, and I want them to have it tomorrow at practice to be their best self, because their best self's the best chance. We have a lot of great talent. We have all levels of experience and game savvy. But the sense of urgency should be in everything you do every day.
Eric, go ahead.
Coach, you've had obviously great pitchers throughout, from Jenny Ritters to Jordan Taylors, the Nikki Nemitz, on and on. Where does Alex and Megan rate as far as this 1-2 punch that you've had and the pride that they have? They both spoke highly about the youngsters behind them, and they want to pass the mantle to them and teach them what they know. Part of the tradition of the great arms you've had.
Well, I think when you speak of Megan Beaubien and Alex Storako, you put them on the same wall with the Jenny Ritters and the Jordan Taylors. They've been fantastic pitchers. They've been last year, both in top 5 in the NCAA and categories and so forth. And that's all I can say is we're lucky that they're on our team, because I can tell you we're tired of hitting against them in practice. But this is a new year and last year's over, as I like to remind them. You have to be hungry now. And it's one thing to have a great year, but it's one thing to be a consistent over a long haul. And because sometimes you can get in your own way. And it's my hope that the carrot is they want to do what they can to get us to the World Series. And, it's no matter what, it's a full team effort.
Charlie?
Yeah, a lot of your veteran players and returners have mentioned that a big thing about playing is in the areas they feel they've grown is confidence. They feel that they've become a whole lot more confident as they played for your teams and under you. How do you try to foster this sense of confidence and belief in themselves as players, as a coach?
Well, I think it takes them a while. I'm probably not the easiest person to play for, because first thing I tell you is I can't give you confidence. That's why I would hand it right to you. You could take a pill or something. You have to understand that your confidence is something you have to own. And I think the other thing that makes it tough is because, of course, I believe in you. And that's why I ride you. That's why I push you. That's why I keep saying, no, you can do it better. You can do it better. Because I happen to know that they can do it better. They have to hold themselves to a better standard. And they learn that in the program, but it's a learning curve. Because at first they don't understand it necessarily. And I use today's example. We were practicing rundowns. And I said, okay, you only win the rundown if you do it in 1 throw or less. Because we've been running rundowns like you would think we teach them to throw 7 or 8 times. And we got so much better automatically. I said, now you're intentional. And that should be your intent every time you have a ball and a chance to get him out, to get him out on your next throw. And so they have to learn to be, it's their intention. And they have to be intentional every pitch of every game and of every practice. And that is a lot different than the kids that were playing travel ball just a few months ago. They didn't have to do that. They don't do that. They need to do it better at those levels. But I think they gain their confidence over time, and that's when they're starting to get it. They're starting to get what we're doing.
All right, let's do last question, Noah.
Earlier, Christina talked a little bit about her impact in the locker room, sort of how she's been like trying to take the freshmen under her wing to a little bit. Can you sort of expand on that and like talk about how what she's been doing with the younger players has impacted the chemistry?
I just know that Christina is just, I just love her. That kid is just a fantastic, all around, well-rounded individual. High character, high quality. And yeah, she recognizes, she calls herself the grandma. She's the 6th year player. She's the oldest kid on the team. And I just think she understands where she can be of help. I don't have to direct her in that area. I did tell her at the beginning of the year, like, I know you're new, and when you're new, sometimes you just don't come in and become the life of the party. You want to blend. I said, you should do that for a little bit, but you matter, and I want your voice. I want you to be a part of this senior class. I don't want you to feel like, well, I'm just the 1 year in and out player. I want you to be, you're a member of this class, and your voice is going to matter. So I think she's gotten really comfortable with her place in the team. The team doesn't view her as the newbie. She's on the team. She's one of our best players. They love her. So I think she knows exactly what she's doing. She's fantastic.
All right, real last question. I'm going to ask it. You've touched on the veterans. You've mentioned the freshmen just a little bit, but I know you like your freshman class, and they were impressive in the fall. But how do you see them contributing at the plate, in the field, in the circle? There's several of them who can have an impact. How do you view your freshmen?
We do love the freshman class, and you never really know how freshmen are going to come in and adjust to this level of play. We know they're capable, but there's a lot of learning, and learning can get in your way. It can damage your confidence, and I see many of freshmen struggle with confidence, which they're not used to because they've always been the best player on the team and usually the best one on the field. So I think all of them have a chance to contribute to this program, and you can look at Annabelle Weidra, of course, probably one of our highly touted recruits, who is really, she's at the plate. She's a factor. She's a factor on the field. And, she's in our pitching chart. She's in our pitching depth chart. So, and she's doing quite well. She's improved a lot. She's really flourishing under Jen. And, I expect her to contribute. I hope she contributes from day one. You look at Ellie Sealer, who's just been amazing. Really an unsung recruit, if you want to call it that. And she makes plays look easy that I can't believe. She runs down balls in the outfield and dives, catches, throws. She makes it look easy. She's got a great bat. I do think she's going to contribute right away. And again, how she manages those first couple of games is not going to be the telling factor. We got to let her settle in. And of course we've got Derocco and Emerson Aiken, who without a doubt, we've got our two aces, and I call them both aces. Derocco's an ace, and so is Beaubien's an ace. So we have, a deuce. We don't have an ace. And, I do expect them to carry the largest load, but we've got some young kids that need to get some experience and can give us the depth that we need, because we need that. And so I definitely am looking to this freshman class to come in and be a contributing factor. And how much and how often, I don't know yet. I don't know. I think we still have some unknowns. We have a lot of depth. We have kids that can play. We have more than 9 kids that can play. So we need to get them in games and give them playing time. That'll be probably one of my toughest jobs, is to figure out who should be in the game, And so we're going to give a lot of kids opportunities to show us what they can do. And then who did I forget? Who else did I name? Who did I not name? Ellie McVeigh. I don't forget Ellie McVeigh. Just a fantastic middle infielder and a slapper. But she's game savvy and got great infield range. So I think it was a great recruiting class. But you recruit kids for a 4-year plan, and not necessarily that they all have to come in and start and be All-Americans as freshmen. That's always a plus, but this is a 4-year process.
Hutch, thank you. Everyone, thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Hope we give you some good things to write about. We'll do our best.
Seeing you this season. And I'll email this video out, guys. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. I don't know how to turn this off. End.
Yes.
Have a good
please.
night.